This is both right. One string. So I guess I clicked
Joe's calculator.
go live.
Yep.
So it's live right now.
Okay. It's live right now?
Yeah.
Did they announce the workouts yet? I haven't checked.
I haven't checked either. I was figuring this out, but I can ask them.
Okay. Don't go live yet then. Are you live?
Yeah. I can mute it. Sweet.
Okay. And then whenever they announce it, it'll just be ready for them to go.
Okay.
Cool.
It's lazy. It's yours. Good day. Good day was. Are we live?
Yeah, the mic's on.
You're blue.
Yeah, there's a blue right here.
Yeah, you're blue.
Is this my turn?
No, it's not.
Alright, we are ready.
What's like the view?
Wait, go ahead and apply. Chip.
I think everyone so thinks we should bring this thing more better than Yeah. Alright, I'm just gonna have to switch it. What is up with these pens not working? No pens work in this entire facility.
Here comes the other throw.
Red,
Red is terrible, but here.
no, red's really like.
Well, I'm looking up the notes on the front wall now.
Oh.
I kind of put like any of the details in.
What's your notes in the post notes? Not really heavy.
Well, just like can you load the water for each other, like what if you have to transition people away, all those things. Not coaching notes. Yeah,
Oh my god. That's dark.
Oh, so you're getting the feet.
Yeah.
We're almost done.
I knew when I saw that. These days, maybe like the exact same.
I mean, at least make it like a basketball.
They made an easier version of the individual.
That's all. It's all. Well, that's fine.
I'm glad they didn't. The mics are up here. We'll give you some real candy.
We'll give you our honest opinions.
Dave Castro, what an a-hole!
Out of context.
And right number 6 on that side.
You're gonna edit this, right? Test 6. Wait, what?
Cool.
Oh, those are my 5 actually.
What were you last week?
Honestly,
Last week.
That's what it is. You should hike it.
Oh yeah, I.
is that live?
Yeah.
Oh. Perfect. Love you, Dad. You were just joking.
Right. I mean, you get the time behind the board.
Yeah.
Either
What do we have like 2 people on this?
Very live.
We're definitely muted.
30 second delay. We should like make an appearance and drop some comments.
You know, I've seen it.
You gotta say it louder so we might see what.
Strongly suggested. My team is not do that because we can't.
We'll send you a raise.
I just spoke to council. We have to do. We can't do Jason once tomorrow, so we have to do 4-1-2.
Okay,
I mean, which isn't that.
we're good to
it's
go.
not that
And it's easy to it's 120 engagements.
Let's
That's
get this money.
120 as opposed to 150. Huge. Or 180. Huge difference.
Yeah.
Huge. As far as how sore they'll be. Like, I don't know. That's okay.
Very good.
We wanted a guest appearance.
Perfect.
Jeez.
Dude, you're so strong.
Break some things.
I usually hit a lot of really helps.
I was just promoted. Plate number 11.
I never.
Okay, so you guys have when we talk, I don't know if I guess when we, if you look at it, does the mic.
Yeah, just talk about anything.
Are we ready? Are we live?
Yeah, we're live right now.
We've been, so you're saying we've been live since I was joking about
Yeah.
cursing out, Castro or something. Got it. All right. Good.
Good stop.
Good start. All right. Well, these
We're
workouts look familiar.
I think we should just cut and paste all of the individual ones.
All of
And then
our
just format the
notes
videos.
for the individuals. So this is, a little bit unique. A lot of our team athletes also, I think all of our team athletes also qualified as individuals. Most of them did some or all of them, even if they didn't register. So I'm guessing a lot of teams will at least have had some exposure doing these workouts for fun. So my guess is a lot of them will know what to expect from the workouts. But let's kind of reset it for those that aren't. What were your thoughts?
Let me start with the order. I mean, I think we did a good job of getting on without any of the doors. And I think that was probably the best one. So that's all the guys.
So yeah,
We had all the guys hit the front squat first, then hit the event 5, which is snatch birthday workout, and then rest for 2 hours and come back and hit event 1.
right.
And that was
So
kind of for the West Coast athletes.
yeah, so for just to reiterate that, for our West Coast athletes, we had them do events 4, which is front squat, event 5, the snatch burpee, and then event 1, and then come back Friday morning and do event 2, and then event 3 in the afternoon. So effectively, our athletes in the quarterfinals were done after Friday. Of course, the big monkey wrench here is organizing team schedules. Which is
a lot of team athletes are not professional
Full-
athletes.
right,
Full-time.
right.
They have CrossFit athletes.
Like-
they have jobs.
yeah, we don't have a full-time professional athlete crew on our teams, and so we're working around work schedules, which I suspect the vast majority of teams out there. Obviously Rich and those guys, they're gonna hit them in whatever order is most convenient. But for most teams and people who follow in our programs, they're in the same boat where we can give you an order we think would be best from an athletic performance standpoint, but at the end of the day, I think 3 out of the 4 of our San Diego teams and probably the Boston team, they're going to have to do these 2 and 1 tonight because they don't have the option of just not working tomorrow. So in that instance, we're going to tackle it as 1 first, 2 second. But most teams should be able to squeeze the front squat in with those, right? So what I would suspect is most teams are going to hit 4, 1, and 2 either all today, or they're going to come back and do 2 in the morning tomorrow if they have that option. I just know that doing 6 a.m. workouts in competition atmosphere is a little tougher. So for some of our guys, that's going to be tough if they still have to go to work. But yeah, I would say 4, 5, 1 if everybody can do that and be here in the morning to do event 2. Otherwise, I would say 4, 1, 2. Okay.
I think our team is actually because we have to come in tomorrow morning. My group, they all have busy work schedules.
That's unconquerable.
Unconquerable, yes, sorry. They can't come in tonight, so they're going to come in tomorrow morning, and we're going to start probably with event 1 as almost a warm-up for them. Because it's not, if you look at the event, they're not going to be super taxed from it. And then after they're warm, we'll hit the front squat. So the last thing they want to do is come in at 8 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, whatever time we decide we have to be here, and hit a 4 rep max front squat. That'll just kind of make things a lot more difficult after that, and they're just not quite warmed up for it. So we're going to hit event 1 first, then 4, then 2 in the morning.
Perfect.
And I think it's easy to kind of joke about these are the same workouts, and it's kind of like, all right, we know how it is. There is a slight difference, though, where I think it makes it possible to do in a different order. You know, it's not one 10-minute long straight workout by yourself. Here, it's a lot more sprint, rest. Maybe you're going to feel worse, maybe you're going to feel better, and that's on an individual workout basis.
Yeah, the volume accumulation is not going to be there as it was in the individual workouts. It's just less reps, or it's more broken up, like Hunter was saying. Like, for instance, test 1, they each do 1 round at a time instead of multiple rounds in a row, short break, multiple rounds in a row. So you're getting like that sprint rest feeling, but it's less volume.
Right. Which does, of course, change the energy system, the way you would train for it, the way you would establish your strategy, right?
I believe, am I wrong? But I believe the strict handstand push-ups are actually more.
15.
It's 15 and 15 instead of 3 rounds of 10, 10,
And it's
10.
100 double under.
Yeah, so that could change it a little bit, but you're getting enough rest.
I
I don't think any of the
I
top.
just don't. I don't see people struggling with 15.
I actually see more people doing strict on the second one, continuing to stay straight, as
I think
opposed to going to
if you look at that workout, it comes down to 400 double unders. Because it's like the time it takes to do 100 double unders is what, 50 seconds?
It can be a huge
So,
difference. Yeah,
Yeah.
faster.
I mean, this
This is like a double under workout
This is
because I don't think the majority of people are going to struggle with 1 round of 15
No.
each time. So you're going to have around about 70 to 90 seconds rest every single round. So like 50 seconds, and then if you're talking 1 second, like 120 maybe. Yep. So you're going to have that. So it really comes down to those double unders, and I think the double unders are going to be, if you're fast and efficient at them, then it's going to. That's where I think this work is one.
Hunter, you have really fast double unders, or you have a really fast double under, right? But like maybe talk about that, because I do think there is a balance, right? There's like you have most athletes, right? But I know like when you go fast on your double unders, they're really fast. But what is the threshold on consistency, right? And how much would you be willing to give ground in something like this?
You're kind of flirting with like making a bad choice by going fast, because of course you risk tripping. And tripping once is slower than just doing it near moderate pace for the most part. Consistent. With trip twice, you definitely fall behind. So I only recommend going fast in the start, but you're someone who's like confident, like, hey, I can keep my hand in
You
the
need
same
to
position.
channel their inner Alex Anderson.
Just spin it going fast. It really comes down to how confident you are. Like Brittany White Spears, she crushes double unders.
Yeah, her double unders.
You know, she has a jump rope sponsor. She loves double unders. So for someone who's confident, like go for it. If you're not, maybe if you're feeling okay, you go fast. And when you get tired, just be consistent.
I think also a lot of people find out movement quality. So it's like the kicking handstand push-ups, stick handstand push-ups, the cleans, and the shoulder to overhead just uphold the standard and make sure you're moving well on those, because a lot of people got reductions on those because of not having the dumbbell up, not working out overhead, and handstand push-ups as well. So it's like move that the majority of the work's going to come in those double unders. So it's like move efficiently and make sure you uphold the standard on those movements, and then each movement consistent with double unders. And whether that's like you're a double under ninja, then you're going to go fast, or you have to be like focused a little bit more on these movements consistent with that.
I think that's a great point. I think we've done a good job of reminding, especially our better athletes, when you look at a qualifying process like this, you don't, don't try to be so fine. At games, sometimes you're just trying to beat the team next to you, and like you're getting a little bit, close to the line of no reps. But in a situation like this, with our better teams and athletes, it's like, do this once the right way. Don't get too close to the line. In all likelihood, their athleticism will qualify them, right? Whereas if you get sloppy, the deduction
It's
takes
a lot.
you
It's a
out.
lot easier to get a deduction from someone sitting and staring at a computer than it is in real time with a judge.
Right.
You know.
Right. So yeah, I think definitely it's it's advice. I'm not saying that the lesser teams will be sloppier, but like good teams have way more to lose by being sloppy with their rep
Yes.
quality than they have to gain. Whereas the other teams that maybe are going to be borderline anyway, they may be a little more aggressive than because if they don't make it. Because of the deduction, maybe they got a little bit faster because they were trying a certain way.
Yeah, and it's hard to know in the time for yourself how you look, but talk to probably not your judge, then you just focus on judging. Let them know what they need to be concerned about. Have your coach there to tell you what you need to focus on. Like we know which athletes' feet get too close to the ground on pistols, so we can tell them like, hey, I'm watching them to yell at you, get your foot up. But if you don't tell anyone and the judge doesn't know what's kind of close, they may start running a lot or not at all. And you want accurate judgment.
It's always nice when we have like a floater judge, like a head judge, right? To just be able to yell at like the whole group, like watch your feet, like the handstand push-up standard. Like some athletes just get wide with their legs, right? And they don't even know it. Just having somebody just yell those like feed in reminders, because
It's like going that 1 to 2 seconds slower is way more beneficial than getting so it's just really well.
What do we think about number 2?
Don't be
70.
Yeah, don't be central workout. So just make sure, I think a good thing that we learned in the open was make sure you're reading all of the judging standards. And so just brush through that. So the single GHD setups, both athletes will should touch behind and then touch the top. Just remember the rep starts at the top. So you can't just jump on and then start the rep. So rep starts at the top, so both athletes start touching, both arms behind, both arms at the top, that's one rep. And then on the pistols as well, the single pistol, both athletes at the bottom, both athletes at the top. So right, not just for this workout, but I think it's more important for this workout that everyone knows, obviously for the single ones, but across the board, make sure you do the judging standards and setup, so you need to up the chance.
Yeah, just hold your teammate's hand while you're doing. See us lean.
That would have been cool. My suggestion for Dave and team next time is if you synchro the pistols, make them like high five.
Foot five.
That would just be so cool.
Yeah, but it can be a lot when you think about all the taping on the ground and all the rules there are. Pay attention to them because some can be helpful, like the height of the GHD. Guys are 40 inches from the top of the pound, girls are 37. So if you have a short girl and you're not reading the standards and put her at 40, you're setting yourself up in that position.
Make sure you're reading the standards. But the workout itself, and just looking at it, obviously, it comes down to finding if everyone's efficient on the pistol, right?
Honestly, I think it's individual, like team basis.
Yeah, I mean, but so if everyone's competent at all the movements, then it comes down to the speed.
I may disagree. I think you see the speed of the pistols being a massive differentiator. Although in the quarterfinals, Danny and Reagan have nearly identical times, but where they made their time was so Danny was much faster on her pistols, but Reagan was faster on the GHD, and they were virtually the same on their rope climbs.
I think with synchro GHDs, it can get really slow, especially if one teammate starts to get a little labored. They start to slow down a little bit. You're spending more time waiting at the top, making sure that you guys are synced up, because that's always in the back of your mind that you don't want to not be there at the same time.
Because it's 70 as well. Because the individuals were 60.
60.
And then 70 when you're synchro, it's probably a little more challenging.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a lot more time of attention.
Yeah.
I think where people can really make this up, it's nice that they give us one movement that's not synchronized, so that if someone is struggling, that person who feels better can pick up a lot of the reps on those times. Even if you're not having better those times, you give the other person a break so you can keep moving on the majority of the reps.
I just think guys are taking
2 to 1.
Probably close.
at least
Depending,
2 to 1, if not 3 to 1 on the rope climbs. I mean, I think most males
They're just
they're
playing
a little,
faster.
they're a little taller,
Yeah.
stronger upper body, better ability to jump and elevate. Like I would just see most males taking the vast majority of the yeah.
Which then makes it potentially, you go 2 to 1, 3, 6, 9, 12 to 14. You're doing 10 rope climbs to 4 for the ladies. Really, I mean, they're only doing what? Then they'll end up doing a total of like 15 rope climbs during the workout, but
I think if it slows down, they go 1 to 1.
Yeah.
It's just no way to change.
I think the big thing though is making sure that your fastest team goes first. 25 minutes. Is
for sure. I think it's an aggressive time count.
Yeah.
For the majority of teams, not for everyone, but for the majority of teams.
I think I mean, across just the regular reps as well, so keep moving. If you can keep moving for you should have a good score. I think as well when it comes down to single stuff and things start to break down, that's where you lose a lot of time. So especially on the pistol, it's like I got no rep. Like, okay, what foot were we on? We go back to the right foot. We both have to do the one with the right foot, and then that's 10 seconds.
I think that's where also having that head judge or that head coach being there that Tino was talking about to remind people, all right, everybody go right foot now or something like that. Just so people don't get that
the head judge
10 seconds of what's going
I think
on.
it's good for the judge to also say, like, if you got no rep, then if you have a good judge, you'd be like, no rep, right leg, so you know straight away. So, like, have that communication with the judges. Because your teammate might be focusing on their pistol, have their pistol go to the left leg, no rep, and then the teammate who didn't get no rep is really confused. So it's like, have your judge.
Pretty sure we got that again.
The extra judge is great because
So, like, if the judge can go no rep right leg,
but have you ever tried to bump card without hitting this? Like a soccer game, I can call everything great from the stands or from home. I don't know.
It's a lot happening fast.
Yeah. Kind of board around.
Yeah.
Oh, seamless transitions here.
What's that?
So those guys have been on successful teams with that transition.
Oh.
It was great.
All right, easy part of the board.
Test 3.
Wall ball row, wall ball row.
I think the best is go fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the only difference in this, I actually didn't see it first, Holden showed me, is someone does more wall balls, someone does more rowing.
Yeah.
It's minor. But how do you guys do that?
I think if you have one rower who's significantly better than the other, I would put them on 120 cows. We saw in the individual one, we saw people go unbroken on the wall balls. We saw people break the wall balls, but we saw the major difference maker was the row. People being able to row fast. So that extra 20 calories, if you're a slow rower, that's up to a minute of time that you can shave.
over a minute for girls and then
So
Just make sure you have tall, heavy females. And you'll be
Yes.
fine in this
Exactly.
workout. Wait,
moving on.
we don't.
I like
That's all right. They have
seeing
good
them on the row.
conditioning, so they'll be fine. Cool. I'm not sure there's much more to talk about. That is,
I think
it's pretty much a
No,
redo.
The same
of
as what we
the
said
individual.
last time. It's stage. I think most people. I think even after fucking these last people to wait, and Megan was like, I just wish I went harder on the board. Like she was off.
Turn it on sooner than you think you can.
Her and Danny were
30
off-
cows left.
Yeah, her and Danny were wall balls at the same time, and I was watching Reagan's, and Danny was about 2,000 cows, 200 cows per minute.
Danny rose well.
She does, but Reagan said afterwards,
Yeah.
she's like, hey, like I just wish I.
I think that was the one takeaway I got from everyone who did that workout was that I wish I would have kicked sooner.
If you finished the workout and your fastest pace was when you finished the workout,
Then you didn't kick soon enough. You should be basically like dying out that last couple calories.
Yeah.
And if you're not, then you should have kicked sooner.
I think this is true to Kristen Hota in almost all, but I asked her like anything she would do different. She said if I would have rode 1 second, I would have died. she will give you full send every time,
Yeah.
but so channel that. Make sure you kick early. Make sure you get. Anything we learned from the 4-rep front squat?
And
Don't do too many.
Yeah.
People do too many. This one, when the individuals, they have the luxury of all 20 minutes themselves.
Right.
Which basically you just keep restarting if you wanted to.
Right.
But in
That's
this
like
one,
a lot of people who try to do this again, the 4-rep max smash people more than what we thought.
No, I mean-
And I think that trying to hit a true 4 rep max and then try to repeat it again, or if you have too many 4 rep max hits, you just screw yourself. So
You get
Well, you
everyone
screw your
should have,
teammates too.
yeah.
I think that was the first thing we told the individuals was build in singles and maybe a double when you think you're at a weight that you're close, but like do not waste an official attempt, with
At
just
70% when
Yes,
you know you're
right.
gonna get it.
Yeah.
Like super easy.
Whatever reps you take, it shouldn't be like, okay, I'm gonna do 300 and 305 and then 310, especially on teams, because it's like you have a limited amount of time.
Right.
You have to declare your weight, do it, show your weights after.
But I think, when this was announced for the individuals before we had seen it, we said 85 to 90% is probably where people are going to be. Sure enough, almost everybody was right around 90%.
Yeah.
Some of the lesser, not lesser athletes, but some of the more aerobic, slow twitch athletes, they were 96%. I mean, we had some newer athletes, less experienced athletes that PR'd their, front squat and did it 3 more times. So know your team composition. Are they people that are really at the upper end of their strength development curve, right? Or if they're newer, be aggressive. But knowing that, I would tell these guys don't even take an attempt under 8. So do singles and doubles up to 85-90%, and then do your 4 rep max of your first, and figure out if you can go up from there.
Risk it for the biscuit.
And you don't start for 20 minutes until the first person's ready to.
Everyone out there is go on with your plan. Everyone's done this workout on teams. So it's go on, you know what you had last night. Go on with your plan. So when the clock does start, you start your opening weight, and then you can go from there. But I think it's important to kind of also strategize your order so you maximize the time. Because it will get punched in the face. But then you just adapt. I think it's important though that you have to video your attempt, right? You have to declare and you have to video, so that's
And the video the weights after.
Video the weights after each person. Yeah, so that's going to take time as well. So make sure you go out with a plan, because you think 20 minutes is a long time until you start having to unload all your parts and then back off again. Okay, so go on.
Couple attempts, tops. Last one, go fast. All right, that's it.
Go really fast.
It's an easier version of the individual one because it's less weight for males, right? It's 185.
Yeah.
And it's a shorter box for females. So the girls should be flying on this one.
They should be fine, but it's going to part a little bit more.
But it's so short.
But the box for females was the difference
That's a
maker.
big difference.
Last one is that they had to really think before they jumped.
I think you're going to see a lot more females ripping the barbell.
I think girls are going to smoke this.
Yeah. The girls can be way faster than that.
I just thought
Like a stronger, like you mentioned, if Danny was doing this one with a 24-inch box, it should be like a minute flat.
Yeah, there's going to be some really fast female times. Yeah. One other thing, because you mentioned camera setup, and I'm thinking about Unconquerable, who has to come in at 7 or 8 in the morning, try to get in all 3 workouts and get them uploaded. Just don't forget, it takes a long time to tape out your spaces, get your cameras set up, do your introductions, do all of that. And just make sure you build that in, because the worst thing for any team would be to
rushing
miss the deadline on submission because they were trying to get all that. So just make sure, and hopefully you have a good support staff, coaches that are going to do that for the athletes. Don't have to worry about it. But for those, the teams are the ones that I'm worried about. People with normal jobs trying to fit this in, right? Individuals normally have more flexibility. Just make sure you build in plenty of extra time, because that's my biggest nightmare with Unconquerable. It's oh man, they're going to try to jam in 3 workouts in a 4-hour period.
Yeah.
And it could just get, dicey. It always takes longer. I mean, when we were doing the individuals and we were doing the GHD, right? Longer workout, and they've got to have the YouTube upload time and all of that. We're oh man, we gotta move to make sure these guys all get their scores in. So
that's why we're
awesome. Well,
Good luck.
wishing the best of luck to all the teams. If your team's been following Invictus programs, you have questions, more specific questions, shoot us an email. info@invictusathlete.com.
Hold it
Um,
cross that.
I'll
And,
answer all emails.
shoot
Go
us
faster.
an email. We're more than happy to help folks on the program. So good luck to everybody, and hopefully we have some fun over the next few days.
That's fun.
Word. Still live.
Great.
We're still live.
All right. Hold on.
Put your clothes on.
Let's go take some. Well, yeah, let's try and get as much set up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Just like, just right now, I'll go take it right now.
Are we going to
Thanks,
see it
Julio.
set up?
Yes, sir.